Keeping the peace can look mature from the outside, but sometimes, it slowly teaches you to stay quiet, ignore your needs, apologize for your feelings, and call it love. You may avoid conflict. You may soften every sentence. You may say yes when you mean no. You may smile when something hurts. You may keep everyone comfortable while feeling smaller inside. And the hardest part is this: people may praise you for being easy to deal with, while you are quietly disappearing from your own life. Today, we are going to look at 7 signs you are losing yourself to keep the peace. And sign number 6 is painful because it often happens so quietly that people only notice it after they feel invisible in their own relationships. Before we begin, please remember this. This video is for general education and self-reflection only. It is not professional psychological, psychiatric, medical, legal, or therapeutic advice. If you are experiencing serious emotional distress, emotional abuse, fear for your safety, or a situation that feels unsafe, please speak with a licensed professional or contact local emergency support. Now let us start with the big idea. Peace is healthy when it protects respect, safety, and understanding. But peace becomes costly when it requires you to disappear. Real peace has room for your voice. It has room for your limits. It has room for honest conversations. It has room for repair. But fake peace often means one person stays quiet so everyone else can stay comfortable. That is not peace. That is emotional self-abandonment. And it can happen slowly. One small silence at a time. One swallowed opinion at a time. One forced smile at a time. One yes that should have been no. Sign number 1 is staying silent even when something matters to you. You may have an opinion. You may feel hurt. You may disagree. You may need help. You may want to ask a question. But instead, you stay quiet because you do not want to start tension. You tell yourself it is not worth it. You tell yourself they will not understand. You tell yourself you are being mature. Sometimes, choosing silence is wise. Not every situation needs a reaction. Not every opinion needs to be spoken. But if silence becomes your main way of surviving relationships, it can slowly erase your voice. A helpful question is this: am I choosing silence from peace, or from fear? There is a difference. Peaceful silence feels grounded. Fearful silence feels heavy. Peaceful silence is a choice. Fearful silence feels like the only safe option. If your silence leaves you resentful, lonely, or invisible, it may not be peace. It may be self-protection that has gone too far. Sign number 2 is apologizing for having feelings. You say sorry for being hurt. Sorry for asking. Sorry for needing time. Sorry for being upset. Sorry for bringing something up. Sorry for not being okay. Apologizing when you harm someone is healthy. But apologizing just because you have emotions can teach you that your feelings are a burden. You may start believing that the only acceptable version of you is the version that never needs anything. That is not emotional maturity. That is emotional shrinking. A better sentence might be, I am not blaming you, but I need to talk about how this affected me. Or, I know this may feel uncomfortable, but my feelings still matter. Or, I need a little time to understand what I feel. You can express feelings with respect. You can be calm and still be honest. You can care about someone else and still tell the truth about your inner world. Sign number 3 is agreeing before you have time to think. Someone asks for a favor. You say yes immediately. Someone makes a plan. You agree even though you are tired. Someone expects emotional support. You provide it even when you are empty. Someone pushes your boundary. You soften it before they even challenge it. This can happen because you want to be kind. You want to avoid disappointment. You want people to feel comfortable. You want to be seen as reliable. But saying yes too quickly can create a life built around other people's needs. Then later, resentment appears. You feel tired. You feel trapped. You feel used. You feel like nobody considers you. But sometimes, the first step is learning to pause. A simple phrase can help. Let me think about it. I need to check my energy first. I cannot answer right now. I will let you know later. These sentences may feel uncomfortable if you are used to automatic agreement. But they give you something important. Space. And sometimes, space is where your real answer finally appears. Sign number 4 is hiding your needs because you do not want to be difficult. You may need rest. You may need help. You may need clarity. You may need affection. You may need space. You may need honesty. You may need someone to listen. But you hide the need because you fear being too much. You tell yourself other people have bigger problems. You tell yourself you should handle it alone. You tell yourself needing less will make you easier to love. But the right relationships do not require you to have no needs. They require honesty, respect, and mutual care. Of course, no one can meet every need perfectly. No relationship is without limits. But if you always hide your needs, people may only know the version of you that performs being fine. Then you may feel lonely even when you are surrounded by people. A helpful question is this: what need am I afraid to admit? That question can be uncomfortable, but it can also bring you back to yourself. Sign number 5 is fearing someone's disappointment more than your own resentment. This is where many kind people get stuck. You do not want them to be upset. You do not want them to think you are selfish. You do not want them to feel rejected. So you choose what keeps them comfortable. But later, you feel resentful. You feel unseen. You feel tired. You feel angry at yourself. The truth is this: avoiding someone else's disappointment does not make the feeling disappear. It often moves the discomfort into your own body. They feel fine. You carry the tension. They get the yes. You live with the resentment. A healthier question is this: which discomfort am I choosing? The discomfort of saying no now? Or the discomfort of betraying myself later? Sometimes, people will be disappointed. That does not always mean you did something wrong. It may mean you finally told the truth. Sign number 6 is feeling emotionally invisible in your own relationships. This sign is painful because it often happens slowly. At first, you are just being flexible. Then you are always the flexible one. At first, you are just avoiding conflict. Then nobody knows what you really think. At first, you are just helping. Then people assume you need nothing. At first, you are just keeping the peace. Then the relationship has peace only because your inner world is hidden. You may notice that people talk over you. They assume you will agree. They forget to ask what you want. They come to you when they need support, but do not notice when you are struggling. And part of you feels hurt because you wonder, do they even know me? This is not about blaming yourself. It is about noticing the pattern. If you have spent years making yourself easy to be around, people may have learned to expect your silence. That does not mean your voice is gone. It means you may need to practice using it again. Small honesty is a good start. I actually prefer something different. I need time. I cannot do that today. That hurt more than I showed. I would like to be asked too. Your voice may feel shaky at first. Use it anyway. Sign number 7 is no longer knowing what you want. After years of adjusting, agreeing, smoothing things over, and avoiding conflict, your own preferences can become blurry. You may not know what you want to eat, where you want to go, what you enjoy, what you believe, what you need. What kind of relationship feels good to you? You may be so used to scanning other people's moods that you forget to check your own. This is one of the deepest signs of losing yourself. It is not just that you do not speak your truth. It is that you have been away from your truth for so long that it feels hard to find. The way back is not always dramatic. It can begin with small questions. What do I actually want today? What feels peaceful to me? What feels heavy? What am I pretending not to know? What would I choose if I were not afraid of disappointing anyone? Do not rush the answers. If you have spent years ignoring yourself, listening again may take time. Now let us bring the 7 signs together. Sign number 1 is staying silent even when something matters to you. Sign number 2 is apologizing for having feelings. Sign number 3 is agreeing before you have time to think. Sign number 4 is hiding your needs because you do not want to be difficult. Sign number 5 is fearing someone's disappointment more than your own resentment. Sign number 6 is feeling emotionally invisible in your own relationships. Sign number 7 is no longer knowing what you want. If you want a simple boundary checklist, try this. Before you say yes, pause. Before you apologize, ask whether you actually did something wrong. Before you stay silent, ask whether silence is peace or fear. Before you hide a need, ask whether the relationship has room for honesty. Before you choose someone else's comfort, ask what it will cost you later. And before you call it peace, ask whether you are still present in it. You do not need to become harsh. You do not need to start arguments. You do not need to explain yourself to everyone. But you do need to remember that your peace matters too. A relationship is not truly peaceful if only one person gets to have a voice. You are allowed to be kind without disappearing. You are allowed to be flexible without abandoning yourself. You are allowed to care about others without becoming invisible. Before you make any major emotional, relationship, medical, legal, or mental health decision, please remember that this video is for general education only. It is not professional psychological, psychiatric, medical, legal, or therapeutic advice. If you are experiencing serious emotional distress, please speak with a licensed mental health professional or contact local emergency support. If this video was helpful, subscribe to Golden Wisdom TV for practical psychology, emotional wisdom, and peaceful life lessons after 40. In the next video, we will look at 5 signs your boundaries are finally getting stronger.